The church bells fell silent as Eliza Winters stood at the altar, her white gown catching the last rays of sunlight through stained glass. She looked into the eyes of the man she was supposed to love forever, Marcus Bennett, devoted father to 6-year-old Lily, and whispered 3 words that shattered everything: "I can't. Goodbye." As she turned and walked down the aisle alone, Marcus felt his world collapse. What he didn't know was that his mother, Eleanor, had already been missing for hours, taken by someone who believed this wedding should never happen. The truth that would emerge would test not just his capacity for forgiveness, but his very will to survive. If you're enjoying this story of betrayal, redemption, and a father's desperate fight to save his family, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more emotional journeys that will keep you on the edge of your seat until the very end. Marcus Bennett stood frozen at the altar, watching as the cathedral doors closed behind Eliza's retreating figure. The assembled guests murmured in shock, their whispers growing into a cacophony that matched the chaos in his mind. His best man, James, placed a steadying hand on his shoulder. "What just happened?" James whispered. Marcus shook his head, his voice barely audible. "I don't know." 6-year-old Lily ran up to her father, her flower girl dress swishing around her ankles. "Daddy, where's Eliza going? Doesn't she want to be my mommy anymore?" The innocence in her question broke something inside him. He knelt down, gathering his daughter in his arms, feeling her small body tremble against his. "I don't know, sweetheart," he said, his voice cracking. "But we'll be okay. We've always been okay, just you and me, right?" Lily nodded against his shoulder, but Marcus could feel her tears soaking through his tuxedo. He'd promised her stability, a complete family. Now he stood in a church full of pitying stares, holding the only person who truly mattered to him, wondering how he would explain this betrayal. His phone vibrated in his pocket. Expecting Eliza, he pulled it out, only to see his sister Catherine's name on the screen. He answered, turning away from the crowd. "Not now, Kat. I can't." "Marcus," Catherine's voice was tight with panic. "Mom's missing. I went to pick her up for the reception, but her house is a mess. There's blood on the kitchen floor." The church seemed to tilt around him. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying someone took Mom. The police are here now. They found a note." "What note? What does it say?" Catherine's voice dropped to a whisper. "It says, the wedding must not happen. She knows why." Marcus felt his knees weaken. He looked at the empty space where Eliza should have been standing beside him, and suddenly her absence took on a sinister new meaning. 3 hours later, Marcus sat in his mother's living room, surrounded by police officers. Lily had been taken to his sister's house, away from the horror of the crime scene. Detective Olivia Reyes sat across from him, her dark eyes studying his face. "Mr. Bennett, I need to ask you some difficult questions," she said. "Your fiancé left you at the altar today, and hours earlier, your mother was apparently kidnapped by someone who wanted to stop your wedding. Do you believe these events are connected?" Marcus ran a hand through his hair. "I don't know. Eliza and my mother got along well, at least I thought they did. Mom was thrilled when I found someone after Lily's mother died. And where is Eliza now? I don't know. She's not answering her phone. Her maid of honor said she took a bag from the bridal suite and left without explanation." Detective Reyes nodded, making notes. "We'll need to find her. She may be in danger too, or she may have information critical to finding your mother." Marcus felt a chill run through him. "You think Eliza knows something about my mother's kidnapping?" "At this point, Mr. Bennett, I don't rule anything out." As the detective continued questioning him, Marcus's mind raced through the past 2 years with Eliza. They'd met at a coffee shop near the elementary school where he taught history. She was beautiful, kind to Lily, and seemed to understand the pain of his past. His wife Sarah's death during childbirth had left him a single father, navigating grief while raising a newborn. Eliza had been patient, never pushing to replace Sarah in Lily's life, but gradually becoming an essential part of their small family. His mother had welcomed her warmly, though in recent weeks, Eleanor had seemed distracted, even worried. Marcus had attributed it to wedding stress. "Mr. Bennett?" Detective Reyes's voice pulled him back to the present. "Your mother's phone records show she received multiple calls from a blocked number in the past week. Did she mention anyone threatening her?" Marcus shook his head. "No, but she's been acting strange lately. Last Sunday at dinner, she started to tell me something about Eliza, but then stopped herself. Said it was nothing." The detective's expression sharpened. "And you didn't ask her what she meant?" "I thought she was just having pre-wedding jitters on my behalf." His voice broke. "I should have pushed harder." "This isn't your fault," Detective Reyes said, her tone softening slightly. "But we need to find Eliza Winters immediately. She's either a victim or a key to understanding what's happened here." As if summoned by her name, Marcus's phone lit up with a text message. From Eliza. "I'm sorry, Marcus. I never meant for any of this to happen. Your mother found out who I really am. They took her because of me. I'm going to fix this. Please don't try to find me, *. Marcus stared at the screen, his hands shaking as he showed it to the detective. "Who is she?" he whispered. "Who did I almost marry today?" Eliza Winters, though that wasn't her real name, drove through the night, her wedding dress stuffed into a garbage bag in the trunk of her car. She wore jeans and a sweatshirt now, her elaborate updo replaced by a simple ponytail. Tears streamed down her face as she replayed the moment she'd walked away from Marcus. The look in his eyes had nearly broken her resolve. And Lily, sweet Lily, who had asked just that morning if she could call Eliza Mom after the wedding. The memory made her sob harder as she pressed down on the accelerator. Her burner phone rang. She answered through the car's Bluetooth. "You've made a mess of things, Vanessa," a man's voice said coldly. She flinched at the use of her real name. "Where is Eleanor Bennett?" "Safe, for now. You didn't go through with the wedding. That complicates matters." "I couldn't do it," she said. "Not after what she told me she knew. The old woman recognized you from the news coverage of the trial. She was going to tell her son everything." Eliza, Vanessa, gripped the steering wheel tighter. "Let her go. She's innocent in all this. No one connected to Judge Bennett is innocent," the man snarled. "His ruling destroyed my family. Now I'll destroy his. Marcus isn't the judge. He's just his son. He doesn't even speak to his father. Collateral damage. You were supposed to marry him, gain his trust, and lead us to the judge. Instead, you developed feelings." His tone was mocking. "How touching. Where do you want me to meet you?" she asked, ignoring his taunt. "The old warehouse. You remember it. Come alone, or the old woman dies." The call ended, leaving Vanessa alone with her thoughts. She had never meant for any of this to happen. 3 years ago, she had agreed to help find Judge William Bennett, the man who had sentenced her brother to 20 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit. Her brother had died in prison 6 months into his sentence, beaten to death by other inmates. The plan had been simple: find the judge's estranged son, get close to him, and eventually use him to locate his father, who had gone into hiding after receiving death threats following several controversial rulings. But then she'd met Marcus, kind, devoted Marcus, and Lily, with her gap-toothed smile and endless questions. Somewhere along the way, the mission had become her life, and the revenge that had once consumed her began to feel hollow. Eleanor Bennett had recognized her 2 weeks ago. Vanessa had been featured in news coverage of her brother's trial, standing outside the courthouse, screaming at Judge Bennett as he walked to his car. Eleanor had confronted her privately, showing her the old newspaper clipping she'd found. "Who are you really?" Eleanor had demanded. "And what do you want with my son?" Vanessa had broken down then, confessing everything. To her surprise, Eleanor hadn't immediately called the police or told Marcus. Instead, she'd listened, her expression softening as Vanessa explained about her brother, about the injustice, about how she'd fallen in love with Marcus and Lily despite her initial intentions. "You need to tell him the truth," Eleanor had said finally. "Before the wedding. He deserves that much." Vanessa had promised she would, but fear had held her back. How could she tell the man she loved that their entire relationship was built on a lie? That she had initially targeted him as a way to find his father? The days had slipped by, and suddenly it was their wedding day, and she still hadn't found the courage. Now Eleanor was paying the price for her cowardice. As she drove toward the warehouse where her brother's killer waited, Vanessa made a decision. She would save Eleanor, no matter the cost. And then, if she survived, she would tell Marcus everything and accept whatever consequences came. Marcus paced the police station, his tuxedo jacket discarded, his tie hanging loose around his neck. Detective Reyes and her team had been tracking Eliza's, or rather, Vanessa's, phone, but she had apparently turned it off after sending her cryptic message. "We've identified her," Detective Reyes said, returning to the room with a file. "Her real name is Vanessa Mercer. Her brother, Daniel Mercer, was convicted of armed robbery and second-degree murder 3 years ago. He died in prison." "What does this have to do with my mother?" Marcus asked, struggling to reconcile the woman he loved with this stranger. Detective Reyes hesitated. The judge who sentenced her brother was William Bennett. The name hit Marcus like a physical blow. "My father." "Yes. Your father, whom you haven't spoken to in what, 8 years? 10, Marcus corrected automatically. "Not since Sarah's funeral." The detective nodded. "We believe Vanessa Mercer targeted you as a way to find your father." Judge Bennett went into seclusion after receiving death threats following several high-profile cases, including the Mercer trial. Marcus sank into a chair, his mind reeling. So everything was a lie. She never loved me. Or Lily. "That's what we initially thought," Detective Reyes said, "but it's more complicated. We've interviewed her friends, her co-workers. They all say the same thing, that she changed after meeting you. Became happier, more settled. And there's this." She slid a letter across the table. "This was found in the bridal suite. It's addressed to you." With trembling hands, Marcus unfolded the paper and began to read. "Marcus. Asterisk, if you're reading this, I've found the courage to tell you the truth before our wedding, or I've failed and run away like the coward I am. Either way, you deserve to know who I really am, asterisk. Asterisk, my name is Vanessa Mercer. 3 years ago, my brother was sentenced to prison by your father for a crime he didn't commit. Daniel died there, beaten to death while guards looked the other way. I blamed your father. I wanted him to suffer as I had suffered, asterisk. Asterisk, I found you with the intention of using you to get to him. I never expected to fall in love with you. I never expected Lily to capture my heart the way she has. What started as a deception became the most real thing in my life, asterisk. Asterisk, I've tried to tell you so many times, but I was afraid of losing you, afraid of hurting you. Your mother discovered the truth 2 weeks ago. She gave me an ultimatum, tell you before the wedding, or she would, asterisk. Asterisk, I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But please know that my love for you and Lily is real, even if how we met was not, asterisk. I'm sorry for everything. Vanessa. Marcus looked up, his vision blurred with tears. She was going to tell me. It appears so, Detective Reyes said. And someone found out and took your mother to prevent that from happening. But who? And why? We believe it's connected to the people who have been threatening your father. Vanessa may have been working with them initially, but something changed. Marcus stood up suddenly. I need to find her. She's going after my mother alone. Mr. Bennett, we have officers looking for both of them. The best thing you can do is stay here where it's safe. Safe? Marcus laughed bitterly. My mother is missing. The woman I love has been living a lie. My daughter is going to wake up tomorrow and ask me why her new mommy left. There is no safe anymore, detective. His phone buzzed with an incoming call from an unknown number. He answered immediately. Marcus? His mother's voice was weak but unmistakable. Mom. Are you okay? Where are you? I don't know exactly. A warehouse somewhere. Marcus, listen to me. Vanessa is here. She came to save me, but they've taken her too. They want your father. Who does, Mom? Who has you? A man named Victor Mercer. Vanessa's uncle. Her voice cut off abruptly. Mom? Mom? A man's voice came on the line. Judge Bennett has 1 hour to turn himself in, or both women die. I'll text you the address. Come alone, and bring your father. The line went dead. Seconds later, his phone pinged with an address. Detective Reyes was already on her radio, calling for backup. We'll handle this, Mr. Bennett. I need you to stay here. But Marcus was already heading for the door. I haven't spoken to my father in 10 years. I don't even know how to find him. We do, Detective Reyes said. He's been under police protection. But we can't just hand him over to a kidnapper. Then what's your plan? We go in carefully. We get your mother and Vanessa out safely. And if you can't? Detective Reyes met his gaze steadily. Then we deal with that when it happens. But I need you to trust me. Marcus wanted to argue, to insist on going himself, but he thought of Lily. She had already lost one mother. He couldn't risk leaving her an orphan. Save them, he said simply. Please. In the warehouse, Vanessa struggled against the zip ties binding her wrists. Across the room, Eleanor sat slumped in a chair, a bruise darkening on her cheekbone. Victor Mercer paced between them, a gun in his hand. Your plan failed, Vanessa, he said. 3 years of work, wasted. It wasn't a waste, she replied. I found something I never expected. Victor sneered. Love? How touching. Did you forget what they did to Daniel? Your own brother. Judge Bennett made a mistake. A terrible one. But Marcus and Lily are innocent. No one connected to that man is innocent. Victor shouted, his face contorted with rage. My nephew is dead because of him. And who will die because of you? Eleanor asked quietly. More innocent people. Will that bring Daniel back? Victor turned to her, his expression dangerous. You don't get to speak his name. I'm sorry for what happened to your nephew, Eleanor continued, her voice steady despite her fear. Truly, I am. My son hasn't spoken to his father in 10 years. He despises him as much as you do. And Lily, she's just a child. Stop talking, Victor warned. Vanessa loves them, Eleanor pressed on. I was angry when I discovered who she really was, but I've seen how she looks at my son, at my granddaughter. That's not pretend. Vanessa felt tears sliding down her cheeks. She's right, Uncle Victor. I came here to save Eleanor because I love her son. I love the family I almost had. Please, let her go. Take me instead. Victor laughed harshly. You think I care about either of you? You're just bait. When the judge arrives, you'll both witness his punishment. Then I might let you go, if I'm feeling merciful. He won't come, Vanessa said. Marcus doesn't even know where his father is. We'll